Hey there, Storm fans. Bryant Cook here, and today we are playing Dredge Storm. A number of you have been asking for this deck updated post Modern Horizons 2, and that's what I'm here to do today, is give you the deets. So, this deck has always been lacking decent one-drops. We have the Insolent Neonate, but that's all this deck has had traditionally. Well, Modern Horizons 2 has brought us Strike It Rich, a card that I uploaded recently for Legacy that I thought that had some promise in the Epic Storm. Well, here it gives us another card to play on turn one, which is important because A, gives you another card to escape away with Underworld Breach, but this deck needs 4 mana to start winning, and that means that this deck can now turn 3 at a higher rate. What you'll be looking to do is go turn 1 Strike It Rich, turn 2 Cathartic Reunion or Thrill of Possibility, discard a Dredge or Dredge a bunch. Turn 3, play your land, Underworld Breach, have 2 mana already available, and then start your winning chain. That's the ideal draw with this deck at the moment. So Strike It Rich is just an accelerant here. It also, towards the end of the game, fixes your mana into blue with Thassa's Oracle. In case you do need to dredge your entire deck, you can just keep on making blue over and over. That's never personally been an issue for me. I think that you can plan around that sort of thing happening, but let's say you're not a planner. Strike It Rich is a nice way of bailing yourself out. It also filters mana. Like, obviously that's how you cast Thassa's Oracle, but it will matter in post-board games, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, so most of this should look pretty similar, including the mana base. We are a Jund combo deck when we play Dredge Storm. We get 2 Manamorphose, and I've shaved a copy. It is a card that you don't need to run 4 of. Strike It Rich is an accelerant. This isn't. I cut a Manamorphose to make room for Strike It Rich. You could run 3 Strike It Rich, but I think accelerating is more valuable than filtering, at least in this deck. So I opted to run 3 Manamorphose. And then I shaved a Burgie. I keep on hitting my dock, but I kept finding that 4 was maybe too many Burgie, because it's not like we play Horn that often, and Horn isn't as effective in this deck as it is with Gift Storm. So I was okay shaving a copy of Burgie there for the 4th copy of Strike It Rich. So it's not really that many changes to the main deck. And the board, though, we do have a few things. So the 4th copy of Thoughtseize is entered. I'm a little nervous about playing this deck tonight. I've always traditionally done well playing Dredge Storm. That said, Endurance is a card that I am terrified of. Yeah, I'm just really afraid of Endurance, pretty much. Endurance is the new green pitch card from Modern Horizons 2. You can evoke it by removing a green card from your hand. Target player shuffles their graveyard into their library, and Thoughtseize is a way of clearing that early on. So Thoughtseize is more crucial than ever, so you really want to open it against green decks. So we've decided to up it there. Lightning Axe is for prowess. Sometimes they can make their creatures live through Bolt. Lightning Axe is a good way of playing around that. So we're playing 2 Axe, 2 Bolt. You can't always afford to discard cards, so I am running a split with Bolt. You could play 4 Lightning Axe if you wanted to, but I'm opting for a split. We cut the 3rd copy of Veil of Summer for the 4th Thoughtseize. I don't know how much this matters right now, but I know that I'm afraid of Endurance, so 4 Thoughtseize. And then this is the card I'm excited to play today. I've loved it so much in Legacy. When this goes live, that means that the day before, so yesterday in the future for me, is a video with Aeve in Legacy where I played it in the Legacy Showcase. Sorry, I'm stumbling on my words a little bit right now, but I played it in the Legacy Showcase, and Aeve really overperformed against Delver. I think that Aeve could be the answer that Dredge Storm has been looking for the entire time. I can't talk tonight, I'm sorry. I just played 4 rounds of Legacy, and now I'm trying to record. Played my first paper match in a while tonight. So, Aeve is already in our colors. We are a green deck. So we have our 3 green sources. We have our Strike It Rich, which makes green mana for Aeve, and then we have our copies of Manamorphose. So I expect these cards to help cast Aeve. We can board it in to dodge Graveyard Hate and Endurance, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I end up boarding in these in the same matchup or not. I haven't figured that out yet. But it's an option that dodges Graveyard Hate. Against a lot of green decks, I don't actually expect Aeve to be good. So I think I'm going to go with Thoughtseize, but against non-green Graveyard Hate, I might board an Aeve. So that's the plan at the moment, but I have high hopes for Aeve in this deck. I think it could be, pretty good. So I'm looking to copy some Oozes tonight, and hopefully you enjoy it as much as I do. I've loved casting this card in Legacy, and I think it's pretty terrific. If you want to support this content, you can always go to theepicstorm.com/donation decks. It's a great way of supporting us. Have your combo deck here represented on this very YouTube channel, or you can go directly to theepicstorm.com/shop. As always, please subscribe. Just click that button, support us. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're already subscribed, like and comment. It's free. Why not? This will have an updated editing algorithm. I've recorded 2 videos the last few days where I felt like perhaps the algorithm was a little too fast. I'm going to slow it down for this one. Let me know what you think about this video. I think that's all I have for now, so I will see you in round number 1. Don't go anywhere. Hopefully you'll enjoy Dredge Storm number 3 here on this channel. We're in for a treat. We are facing the entire Wu-Tang That's pretty scary. I don't know if I'm fit for that. But we're on the play. I have no clue. I'm not going to look up what our opponents are playing. I'm just going to play Dredge Storm the best that I can. We have Breach, which is a pretty important step. We don't have a discard outlet for the Stinky. That said, we have most of what we need here. I'm honestly considering keeping this, but I have a feeling that that's a mistake. I just don't know. I'm going to ship it. Be a little more practiced. Okay, so this hand just needs to find Breach. I think we'll keep this in bottom. The mountain. It's so hard to mulligan hands with Breach with this deck, but just 5 lands is so difficult. Alright, so we're going to start off. And we'll just cast Insolent Neonate and then pass the turn. There we go. Alright, so now it's the opponent's turn. I have to do a little bit better of a job narrating for the editing software to do its thing, so I just have to be conscious of that while we play. Thoughtseize. Great, you discarded my Stinkweed Imp. And this would have made our previous hand pretty embarrassing. So I think I'm just going to... Do I draw until I hit the Underworld Breach? I just don't know. I think I'm just going to dredge it. No Breach. I look like a genius. I guess that's kind of cute. We can flashback Strike at Riches. Alright, let's attack. Boom, get in there. So our opponent's now at 15 from their Shock, the Fetch, and then the Neonate. I think this is just like... What? Wow, we can't beat that. Just main deck card we can't beat. Welcome to Postmodern Horizons, I guess. Black Leyline of the Void. Main deck. Was I supposed to respond to that? I don't know. Maybe I should have discarded an imp. We drew the Breach. And I can't block it. It has Shadow. I'm just cold to this because I cut the Grape Shot too. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I think the real answer is just concede. Yeah, I can't beat that. Like, in theory, I could, like, try to build towards Bergie, and then, like, Bergie to churn through my deck. I just don't know. Like, technically, playing Horn, and then Horn into this Oracle is my win con. Sweet. Okay. Man, the Voidwalker is such a beating. I don't know if this is going to be a norm or not. Like, if this is just Jund with that card in main deck. It's also a 3/2 unblockable for 2 mana on top of being Rest in Peace, which is fairly degenerate. Now the Voidwalker is going to attack us. We're going to fall to 16. I just don't see us winning this game, unfortunately. Liliana of the Veil post-combat. Okay. Yeah, we're not beating this. This is such a... Wow. When we're on Dredge Storm, this is particularly brutal. I don't think having the 1 Grape Shot in the main deck would have been a meaningful change as well. Alright, so we're going to cast Cathartic Reunion and see what we can draw into here. But I think I'm just going to pack it in. We're not going to win this. I'd rather just go to board, get my removal effects. Question is, like, I think I should just board an Aeve here. Like, I think that's the real answer. Board an Aeve, board in these. I think we probably want Veil of Summer. You could argue for Thoughtseize as well. I think we could probably get rid of the Burgies. I don't think that those are going to be super effective. A lot of cards to come out still. Probably get rid of the Neonates. Because we need the Strike at Rich to create green mana for Aeve, so we can't board those out. And we have Lightning Axes or 1 mana effect. What else do we want to board out here? I've been yelled at by other people for boarding out Dredgers, but I actually think it's fine to like board out one of each. Especially if we're on like an Aeve plan post board. I think I'm going to try this out. Come on, let's ooze people. We have an ooze we're keeping. Double Breach is a little bit awkward though. No removal spell for that creature again. The entire Wu-Tang Clan has taken a mulligan, collectively. Okay, let's start us off. Likely getting a Stomping Ground with a Scalding Tarn. Would have loved if these were rituals instead, because you could have like a turn, possibly a turn 2 Aeve, which would be bananas. That's the dream in Modern, I think. Alright, we're just going to fetch in response to this Inquisition and then F6. Alright, so we're getting Stomping Ground here, and then Inquisition will resolve. If I had to guess, they're probably going to take the Manamorphose here and then leave us with the Breaches, because we have 2 of this effect, so they shouldn't discard one of these, and they're never going to discard the Stinkweed Imp. What will their choice be? And I was correct, it was Manamorphose. Draw. Okay, so this is a little bit awkward. We're just going to have to pass here. Bloodstained Mire. Into Blood Crypt. Okay, so we have 4 removal spells in our deck. We just have to draw one of them. The Voidwalker is just such a brutal thing for us. There's no point even to playing Stinkweed because we can't block it. It has Shadow. Why does it have Shadow? Did it really need to be unblockable? A 3/2 Leyline of the Void? And I was probably supposed to fetch in response, and I just didn't. Oh, I played it after. Okay, that's right. I'm just so frustrated by 2 mana Leyline of the Void that's unblockable. Alright, so the Voidwalker is going to hit us here. Okay. We need to start drawing into some mana. I would also take a Lightning Axe. Croxa. Okay, so whatever we discard is just going to be exiled. I think we're supposed to discard the Thug. Let's see what our draw step is. So if I drew a 2 mana Ritual, it's technically not that great. Maybe I should sit on the Strike at Rich. Yeah, I think I'm going to. We're just going to have to get a little bit lucky in order to win this game anyway, so we just need to draw like running Rituals, I think. And then Strike at Rich for the last green. What is this? Brutal. So we're going to have to discard 2 cards here. I think we're probably going to discard the... I don't know. I guess we keep a Breach, but I don't think it honestly matters. We're just getting crushed. And I can't block this anyway, so we're just dead in 2 turns. Yeah, that's a bummer. We're going to start this league out 0-1. Womp womp. We're back for round number 2. Another chance at success. Let's see if we can actually do something this round. We're on the draw. We're going to try this one out. Once again, no Underworld Breach, but we're going to try to make best of what we can. Temple Garden into Elvish Reclaimer. Okay, well that was not an Underworld Breach. We do have a few Neonates as draws. It stinks because this is likely going to get a Bazooka Bog. We played the Neonate. We're going to have to try to win on a turn where this Reclaimer's tapped down on mana, most likely. They're going to get in, it looks like. So much main deck graveyard hate, and this doesn't even account for the fact that they could just be playing Endurance as well. No reason. Yeah, I can just take a draw step here. It's pretty free. Boom! That's rewarded for not using this. Skill magic. Clearly, that was not luck. I just happened to draw the perfect card. Okay. I think here I'm just going to play my land and play another Neonate. I want to try to trick them into not leaving up Reclaimer and then doing everything all in one turn, I think. That's the plan. It's just like, have no graveyard, kill them. Or at least that's what I'm going to try to do. So we're 2 turns away from that. Because I guess I could draw a Ritual for a turn. That would allow us, but I don't know how realistic that is. It looks like they're leaving up Reclaimer anyway. Stomping Ground. Let's just get in there. Why not? We're an aggro deck. We can attack. Come on, just tap out. How bad could it be? Looks like they're going to activate Reclaimer here. Alright, Search for Tomorrow has a suspend counter removed. Tap out, please. I also wonder if I can like beat a Bazooka Bog by not going all in initially. Like play part of it. They bog in response. I do some other stuff with Breach. Like I think I might actually be able to beat a Bazooka Bog. Explore. Miss your land. Miss your land. Yeah, buddy. All these Reclaimers and then you died? Shame. They also could just have Endurance. We're going to discard Stinkweed Imp here. And then we're going to Dredge. Let's pop out our graveyard a little bit. Let's look what we have in there. A Thrill of Possibility, Desperate Ritual, a few Dredgers, Pyretic Ritual. Not too bad. I think I'm going to activate this Neonate again. Discard the Imp. Dredge again. We have all the gas we need. We just need them to not have Endurance. Might as well fetch to Thin here. And another card in the graveyard for Underworld Breach. Do you have Endurance? This would normally be a win. Alright, so Desperate Ritual. Exile these lands. Desperate Ritual again. Exile some more lands. I'd like to play Burgie to make this easy mode. I think I have enough cards for that. So if I play Burgie, I can then Neonate to dredge the rest of my deck. And then eventually Strike It Rich will get me up 1 mana. So I think that's a winning line. So exile this. Breach and the other Neonate, I guess. Then we can cast Neonate, removing some of this other stuff. We don't need this many Dredgers. Make it red. And this is just a chain, so we can discard Stinkweed Imp. Now we dredge. Now we have the loop. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Alright, so then we just do this again. Eventually we're going to dredge our entire deck, and then we'll have enough to win. So dredge Stinkweed Imp. Sorry, this can be a little bit tedious, but it's a lot of fun to play, trust me. So we're going to exile our land, Cathartic Reunion, and Thrill of Possibility. Each one you gain a couple cards. Now we, once again, discard the Imp. We have 23 cards left. It's 5 more dredges. I also haven't had a Strike It Rich yet, which is kind of weird. Exile the Mire, Breach, and Thrill. We just don't need those effects. Once again, discard the Imp. Still no Strike It Rich. We can remove Neonate, Burgian Breach. Discard the Imp. Dredge. Alright, so we've hit a Strike It Rich, so in theory we could stop the loop at this point. But I think it's probably free to just dredge a tiny bit more. And we can exile Thug, Imp. Those are just cards that we don't really need. So after this dredge, we'll have 3 cards left in deck. So now we can cast Strike It Rich. This is going to bring us up to 2, and our opponent's going to concede. Okay, we've won a game. That's pretty wild. Us winning a game with Dredge Storm? That's bananas. Game number 2. We do have to worry a little bit about Endurance, so I'm going to board in Thoughtseize. And I think that we're going to want these removal spells as well for Elvish Reclaimer. Alright, so we do have 8 cards coming in. We have to find some cards to take out. I think that this is a matchup where Strike It Rich can be boarded out. Because we're not boarding in the Aeve plan, this does lose a little bit of value, so we can afford to take Strike It Rich out. I know you all came here to watch Modern Horizons 2 cards, but I also care about winning, so we're going to try to do a little bit of that while seeing how these cards are. So you got to see Strike It Rich win game number 1. I hope that was good enough. We still have to find 4 more cards to take out. I think Burgie's probably going to be pretty good here, so I don't want to take those out. I doubt that this deck has a ton of removal. I'm always fine with shaving 1 of each Dredger, but not everyone agrees there. Can't take out a few Morphos, or Amorphose down to 2, which is something I've done in previous videos. And then we would need 1 more. Maybe like a Thrill? Or a Ritual. A Ritual is probably better. Shave a Pyretic. Let's try this out. I'm not an expert. I'm just here to play some Magic. One concern that I do have is that I cut a land to make room for Strike It Rich, and now we're boarding down a land. Yeah, let's try it. This hand seems pretty sweet. The only thing that I dislike about it is that we open-handed the Thassa's Oracle. I think our opponent's taking a mulligan here. Yeah, they went to 5. Oh no, I just realized in deck building, I don't have an out to Leyline of the Void. I cut the claims going like, yeah, I never cast these cards. But if our opponent mulligans to Leyline of the Void, I'm going to look a little silly in this video. Okay, so Blood Crypt. I think I'm just going to lead on Mesa, so that way if I need to bolt on their end step, I can. Alright, we're on our opponent's turn. They're taking a draw here. What's the plan? Explore. Cavernous Souls naming what? Giant is the answer. Alright. Yeah, I was so concerned with finding room for Aeve and Thoughtseize and everything that I forgot about Leyline. So you might want to adjust some of the cards in the board. Like maybe we don't want 4 removal spells. Maybe we only want the 2 lightning axe. That's a possibility. Alright. I think I'm just going to play a land and pass here. My current plan is to play the Horn and then discard Thug and start dredging that way. Maybe that's a little crazy, I don't know. Having both of our bolts here makes me feel a little bit silly. I don't know if I'm going to burn the bolts because they only have 1 card in hand. I don't know how much damage this is really going to do. Oh, well, that was good. So what I could do is I could bolt this and then ritual into Burgi. And if I just find any way to get Thug to the graveyard... This is close. Alright, let's just get rid of this. Alright, so we double bolted the Dryad. Our opponent has 1 card. They're likely a Titan deck. And we'll see if they have it here with their final card. They're fetching, so it's a good chance the last card is in fact Titan. Which would have been a lot of damage for us if... Okay, it's Titania. It's still a pretty good one. So they're going to be able to make a 5-3 here. I still like the idea of playing Burgi. Could play Stinky Imp as a blocker. And then that's a card that, yeah, I think I like this. Because that's one way of getting a creature to the graveyard for Dredge. Come at me. Come at me. I dare you. You're not the ley line of the void with Shadow. I can block you. Or your little friends. What was their draw? Was it anything meaningful? I hope not. And... Coward. Didn't attack me. Alright, so I can ritual into Horn here. I think that's probably worth it. Alright, so we're casting Ritual. And then Horn. We're just going to pass the turn after that. 1 card in hand, what could it possibly be? Opponent's draw. Will they attack this time? No attacks. Another land, okay. Let's discard this Thug, see if we can get something good to cast off Horn. I think this is the turn we're supposed to be going for it. So if I play Cathartic Reunion, I go down to 1 mana floating. I don't think I've played a land yet. But I think it's better here if I play this first. Because then I can play a Ritual and I don't have to draw a land and get lucky. I think that this just ends up being better. I'm not going to be needing Lightning Bolts, so we can get rid of those. Alright, so we'll discard these 2. And now we're going to Dredge. I don't understand how it wants me to do a replacement effect. I don't have another card to... Alright, so it's just telling me to do that, I guess. Let's discard these, see if we can get anything cool to cast. Horn and Breach, BFFs. This puts an extra card to the graveyard, so why not play it? Okay, so I could play... Our opponent's had enough. We've won the match! We're 1-1 with Dredge Storm. Woot woot against a deck that likely had Bazooka Bog, and instead we skillfully got lucky and won. That's what I love to see. Round number 3. We're on the Dragon's Cart Dude 2. So this is a hand that really wants another land. We have Breach, but I don't think we're supposed to keep this. We have no way of getting the creatures to the graveyard, no second land. As good as this looks, it's definitely a mulligan in my opinion. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. We have Striker Rich, Burgi. I think we're supposed to bottom a Thrill here. Okay, let's see what the opponent's playing. Oh no. Is this humans? It is. So, a little bit risky. I did cut the grape shot. The odds that you get paired against humans is just so low. And I didn't... do I want to cast Striker Rich? I don't know. I think I'm going to hold it. Maybe they'll name the wrong thing with Meddling Mage or something. If they name Thassa's Oracle, we cannot win the game. That said, if they name Underworld Breach, we probably can't win the game either. So I also have a really tough time beating that. We can with Bergie, it's just really difficult. I guess that would have been a reason to play Striker Rich on turn 1 as well. I guess we're doing it now. Alright, let's not give up any more info. Let's just play the Striker Rich. Could have had a Bergie this turn. Instead, we're just passing. Need them to not have the foresight of naming Underworld Breach. The problem with, like, the one of Grape Shot is that it's just not very reliable. Like, I played it for those 2 videos and I just never wanted or needed it. And now that we're into this video, we run into Thalia and Shadow Leyline of the Void. Opponent's thinking here on whether or not they should, I don't know, play a Hate Bear. It seems like a no-brainer. Probably deliberating on which Hate Bear to play. Oh, they've tapped mana. Something's happening. So they have Meddling Mage. Likely trying to figure out what to name here. Ragavan is not in my deck. Nice one. Okay, so we're taking the hit from Thalia. Next turn we're playing our Bergie. Land would have been nice there. Alright, so we've played our Bergie. We're passing now. In order to cast one of these spells, I will need a 3rd mana up front. I can play Insolent Neonate and generate a mana through Thalia because it's a creature. That said, I still can't cast any of these. Manus Rider. Ooh. Reflector Mage is a little bit brutal. Alright, so now we need to draw a 3rd land off the top. Okay, so step 1. Oh, I can't play it. That's how that works. I knew that. I think I'm supposed to just throw a possibility on their end step. I forgot about the clause on Reflector Mage that I can't cast it the following turn. So we're going to be taking at least 6 here. If they play Thalia's Lieutenant, it's 9, which is still not lethal. But we're going to need to draw Underworld Breach. I don't even think Breach does it because we can't accelerate into Bergie. So I think we just lose. The Reflector Mage was just too good. And now they Meddling Mage on the Bergie. So maybe instead of running like a Grape Shot or something, we just run like main deck Lightning Axe. That could be a possibility. And I just think I'm going to concede here. Instead of showing them throw a possibility with Golgari Thug, I'm going to concede game number 1 and just not give them more info. They don't need to know that we're on Dredge Storm. So I like the removal spells. Bergie's good for beating Thalia. I think Striker Rich is the card that gets boarded out here. I don't really think that this is an Ooze matchup, unfortunately, as much as I want to cast this card. Yeah, I just think everything else is too important to the strategy. So we're going to submit that. Hopefully we can take the next 2. As always, if you want to support this content directly, one of the best ways you can do that is picking up a mini token pack from theepicstorm.com/shop. For $12, you get 54 mini tokens. 20 storm, 10 black, 10 red, 5 blue, 3 of the rest. 54 goblins on the back. Empty those warrens. and they're mini, half the size of a standard Magic the Gathering card. You can see our old tokens next to the mini tokens. That's the size differential. Once again, you can get those at theepicstorm.com/shop. All right, game 2, and we're on the play against humans. I want to keep this, but it's so risky. Because even if you hit your second land, you can't cast Burgi. Yeah, have to ship it. Okay, something. I think we just get rid of the ritual here. Plan A is just draw Breach. So one thing that this deck is missing, like you could run like Shred Memory, but it really just wants like a way of, like maybe this is the deck that should be playing Wishclaw. We're already playing black. Like maybe instead of Burgi, or maybe less Burgi, you run Wishclaws. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud here, but it just feels like we need more ways of finding the Breach. Noble Hierarch, of course. Okay, so we can throw a possibility on their end step or Lightning Axe of Thalia if need be. Some people in previous videos have mentioned that you can actually run Noxious Revival to dredge and then put the Breach on top, which is a possibility. I'm not against that. It just, you're leaning extra hard into graveyards, so things like Leyline of the Void or Rest in Peace are really going to crush you if you take that avenue. Not shocked that they need Meddling Mage there. That said, we don't have a Burgi and we don't need them to win. Plus, we could always play it as Horn, so I don't know if I'm actually going to kill this Meddling Mage or not. Part of me thinks that I should just draw 2 and not dredge this Thug. Alright, let's Thrill. Mistake, should have dredged. I think I'm just going to cast Thrill. Well, there's the Burgi. I think I might bolt the Meddling Mage now. I haven't decided. We could always just play it as Horn, but we do have 2 removal spells, so it's pretty free to just like slow down their clock by bolting the Mage. See what they play here. Okay. Champion of the Parish. So it's just a dumb beater. We're not going to care about that a whole lot, most likely. See what they do here. I guess it's best if they swing out, because this is 5 damage instead of 4. Slow down that clock a little bit. So we're going to take 2 here, go to 13. Don't want to dredge. So we want to draw a land or a ritual to play into Horn, I believe. Okay, so we drew the ritual. A land would have been slightly better, but this gives us a chance of winning. Alright, so we are playing Horn here, which gets around the Meddling Mage naming Burgi, which is kind of cool. Next turn, we pretty much have to discard our 3 cards into Ritual Underworld Breach. That's what we're looking to do. Our opponent currently has at least 4 damage on board. We're at 13. We do have the Lightning Axe, I suppose. It's just a little bit annoying because it's going to buy them time. Oh, I think that just won them the game. The time is all they needed. So we're taking 8, and we have to win this turn, and with Thalia in play, it's just not going to happen. Even with us having the removal spell, we don't have enough mana. We drew Breach, doesn't matter. It probably would have been better if I dredged there, honestly. But we drew the Breach that we would have had to find off the Horn. But we just don't have the resources. We need at least 4. We need 6 mana and we have 3. So I'm going to concede this. Unfortunately, we're 1 and 2. Not the end of the world. Maybe we'll win out. I certainly hope so. Welcome to round number 4. We're on the draw once again, and we've opened up a pretty good hand. We still obviously need Underworld Breach, but it has a lot of potential. So we're going to keep this and we'll see what kaptinkillem's playing. Tron or Eldrazi Tron, one of the two. That is a good start. Okay, so this could be a turn 3 hand based on the looks of it. Just need our opponent to not do anything too scary to us. So it's Blue Tron. Okay. Means that they have like condescendent stuff, which is kind of annoying. We really need this cathartic reunion to resolve. So one thing I could do is I have 5 mana right now. Alright, I'm going to pass because we could actually do everything all in one turn next turn if our opponent taps out. So what I can do is I can... Why aren't they tapping out? Come on. If they tapped out, we could have gone Pyretic Ritual. I mean, maybe that's the line that we still take. I'm not sure. Maybe I just like... I don't know. Another breach. I guess at least we get to discard the cards here. Maybe I was supposed to do this last turn. Sure. Yeah, maybe I was supposed to reunion last turn and just accept getting countered. But on the bright side, we can dredge the Stinky to maybe win on our turn. Blue Tron. I feel like I recorded another Modern video recently where I got paired against Blue Tron. It's a pretty unpopular deck, so getting paired against it's like kind of surprising. Another power plant. Karn. Are they not going to go get Tormod's Crypt? Because they should. I mean, this should be a pretty easy decision. Ensnaring? They don't have a Tormod's Crypt on their board? How do you not have a Tormod's Crypt? That doesn't make any sense. Alright, so I'm attempting to cast Desperate Ritual here. Oh, I mean, I got there eventually. It was a little bit of work, though. Alright, so now what we do is we flash back this Desperate Ritual, because we need 4 mana floating in order for it to be effective. Alright, so that's going to bring us up to 4 with the land. So now we're going to cast this Reunion, discard these 2, and dredge a ton of cards. Apparently our opponent knew what the jig was. They're aware of Dredge Storm. So we've won game number 1 against Blue Tron. I feel like this is a match where I definitely want Thoughtseize. I don't know how good Burgie is here. I also feel like this probably isn't a like an Aeve matchup, unfortunately. I really want to cast this card because I think it is the sideboard answer we've been looking for, but we just haven't really gotten the matchups, in my opinion. So I do have to find one more card for this Thoughtseize. I think I'm just going to do a Thug. Try this out. Well, this is a hand where we'd love an Aeve. This could cast turn 2 Aeve. Clearly should have ordered it in. Have to mulligan. This is strong. I think I'm going to discard them, or put back the Morphos, most likely. Because we need the ritual in the graveyard. Alright, let's see what kaptinkillem does. Yeah, I definitely misbuilt the sideboard because like we don't have a nature's claim for like relics or anything either. Yes, I would like to pay 2 life. There just shouldn't have been 4 removal spells. Like there should be 2 nature's claims in there. Is this an upheaval deck? This is so wild. I guess it is a reason to run Blue Tron, I suppose. Yeah. Sure. I also don't know if we're supposed to dredge with this Cathartic Reunion. I think we might just want to draw cards. Power plant. They have mine already, so they're going to have Tron. And I should not fetch basics due to these Field of Ruin effects. I want land number 3. No replacement. Okay, so no breach yet. Interesting that they chose to play an island there. Okay, I'm just going to cast this. I assume that they drew a counter here, which is why they played the island. No? Okay. That's what I like to see. Let's get another shock. What's our opponent going to do? Deal us damage? Alright, so next turn we can likely go for it. Let's see what kaptinkillem does on their turn. Nothing at the moment. Just a Field of Ruin. Okay. And I do want to dredge now. Opponent has a stop on our draw step. Might not float mana. I don't know. Alright, can we take our turn now? I would like to attempt to kill you. Or win the game if you want a terminology that's slightly less aggressive. Breach. Ding, ding, ding. Even if they have Remand here, we can beat Remand. Look at that. Just like that, we're 2-2. Opponent didn't even make us click through. Respect. Match number 5 will be coming up in just a second. Don't go anywhere. The final round of the night. Let's get it. This hand's interesting. We don't have a Dredger for the reunion. We don't have Underworld Breach. We'd have to cast the draw spell off of Strike It Rich. This is certainly a risky keep, but I'm going to try it out. Alright, so let's cast this Strike It Rich. Okay. Now we're going to pass the turn. Let's see what our opponent's on. What are you playing, Bruck, for? Niftalite, maybe? Okay. Not the way I wanted to cast this, but get rid of this Thrill and the Morphose. It could have been worse. Holding on to the Neonate. I feel like Neonate's a card I might want to discard to the reunion. Maybe that's not true. So it actually looks like the deck we played in round number 2, I think it was. Maybe I should have played the Neonate. It's probably a mistake. The reason it's a mistake is it's like pretty free to cycle, and I think cycling is probably more important at this point. Yeah, that was a mistake. Alright, so we're fetching here with the Arid Mesa. Probably just getting Mountain again, trying to avoid a little bit of damage. I'm going to discard a Ritual here and draw. Actually, it's free to discard the Oracle. Why not? And let's cast another one of these. Reunion draws into what? Alright, so we're about a third through our deck, no breach. Yeah, they're on Niftalite. Okay. Underworld Breach off the top. Come on, it will be so good. I think we're supposed to just flashback Strike It Rich here. We need to draw into something. Could just be dead here. What are you doing, opponent? Maybe they're just doing value plays, I guess? I don't know. Breach. That's interesting. 6 mana, 7 mana. We could try to go for it right here. So we would splice this and then have 6 hits, possibly more. I think I like that. Because you have to keep at least 2 mana floating in order to win this turn. I don't know if these decks play counters. Not ideal. We need a breach. There's our breach. So it's possible for us to win this turn. Maybe Wishclaw isn't needed with Burgee. I don't know. Maybe Wishclaw would just make the deck more consistent. You just have nothing, opponent? Alright, we have no hand. So this is actually a spot where Manamorphose comes up pretty big. We're going to exile more lands. Exile the Thrill. Thrill's a stinky card. Another land. Probably don't need the Neonate, and another Thrill. Paradox Ritual. So this is going to bring us up to 4 mana, and then we can Cathartic Reunion to just rip through our deck. And Reunion. Discard, and then you pay the rest of the cost. Get rid of Neonate. Don't need so many Manamorphose or Rituals, so let's get rid of those. Okay. 12 cards left in deck. Need to make more mana. I always get a little bit nervous when they make me play it out because I think that they might have something, but it's not very likely if we got this far. I guess I could discard these to Hornfell to get extra deep. I didn't consider that. Cast Ritual. Convert this into treasure, which is blue for this Thassa's Oracle. I don't know. I'm just going to click cards. It's fine. Alright, so now we have no deck. After... Whoa, I don't want to cast you. I want to discard you. Now we cast the Oracle. And we win! Woot woot! Take that, 5-color Nib to light deck. They might have something like Endurance. I also think that they're probably a deck that has some Spell-based interaction, so maybe we want this stuff. I think Striker Rich once again is being boarded out. I think Thrill's like sort of weak card, and then maybe another Dredger, something like that. I board differently all the time, by the way, so please don't assume that I have like one plan. I like trying stuff out, getting different, like, see how things are if I board out 6 Dredgers versus 7 draw spells or whatever, so. I'm just thinking a mulligan. I know that this hand doesn't do a whole lot. That said, our opponent's a slow deck, and I like land drops in these sort of matchups where we're going longer, because it means that I can hardcast Hornfell. Alright, so opponent's just on, you know, tap lane go. I think we're going to be doing a lot of that ourselves. Alright, so they've played a Wooded Foothills. Is this a turn 2 Wrenn and 6? It looks like it. I'm going to fetch in response, and then pass. In case you draw Veil of Summer, you might as well get the Stomping Ground. I'm playing the fetch lands first to fill up our graveyard for Breach, but also, like, I don't want to draw lands, so let's get rid of them. Neonate. Unit can keep Ren insects in check to buy time too, which is kind of funny. Alright, well they saw that. I drew Veil of Summer. Clearly shouldn't have fetched. My laziness, if for some reason they played something that targeted me right now. Yep. Still looking to draw Breach. So they're like a hybrid Titan Omnath deck, which sort of makes sense. Both being infinite colors and all whatnot. I'm just going to take a draw. I think I might need to cycle this Veil of Summer if possible. Well, now I'm definitely cycling the Veil of Summer. Because it's going to be a dead card. Breach. Breach! Or another land. Slide down the sideboard so you can see a little bit better here. Alright, so we are pretty close to being dead to Titan. I think our opponent knows that as well. Although, if we just draw Underworld Breach, I think we win the game. Opponent has one card in hand, and it is apparently something they can cast. It's another Dryad. Okay. And now they have a land. They can play the land. Come on, deck. Give me that Breach. Breach. Okay, I think I'm supposed to cycle Morphose this turn, trying to win. What's the draw? Another land. Our draws this game have just been awful. So I can Ritual into Burgie and then discard a bunch of cards, but because of this Teferi, I can't take advantage of it. So I think I actually have to pass the turn right here. Yeah, it's just better if I don't cast Burgie. Unfortunately. I think our best draw is actually a Ritual next turn, because the Ritual would allow us to play Burgie with 2 mana floating and discard 3 lands. Our opponent has lost connection to the game, so it might be a minute or two before they're back. Hopefully with the new editing software, you didn't even notice that they were gone. That's how it should work, at least. But they're going to fetch with Windswept Teeth on our end step. I don't even know if I have lands to fetch anymore. I think I have 1 Stomping Ground, actually. Okay, so our opponent's taking their turn. Really looking for them to not draw into anything too good here. They can play 2 additional lands. So I think what our opponent should do, is use that Teferi, try to draw into the card that wins them the game. There's likely a Scapeshift in their deck. So Bring to Light would kill us because it gets Scapeshift. They've played their land. Now we take 4. They have 2 unknowns in hand, which is pretty scary. Our window to win was last turn. No. I guess I can Thoughtseize them. And then play Burgie Pass. So I'm going to 8. I'm sorry, play Horn, not Burgie. They can't bounce it with Teferi because they used it last turn. So we're just looking to live for 1 more turn. That's it. We know that they have 2 blanks in hand. They get 1 draw right now. They've already used their Teferi minus ability. They can't use it again right now. So they get 1 draw right now to kill us. Hopefully they don't do it. Okay, what was your draw, opponent? Am I dead? I hope not. They've plus Teferi. No! Oh no. That was actually really good for our opponent. Crap. Well, I guess I couldn't discard those anyway. So our out now is drawing a ritual because we're dead to the damage on these next turn. So I guess I could play Burgie's a blocker as a way of surviving. I could also play Stinkweed Imp. Although I don't know how much I like that. So if I Dredge Imp and play Imp, actually maybe that's the best line here. Because then I can play a land. I don't have another untapped land, so I'd have to draw a ritual next turn in order to make that line good. Screw it. No breach in there, so not the end of the world. We have to draw a ritual. That's our plan at the moment. Oh, they drew the card that kills us. Okay, next game. Bummer. I want to see. So I would have drawn the ritual. So that was step one. This would have been the first Arid Mesa, and then the next two draws would be Blood Crypt. Alright, we would have fizzled. Yeah, we just didn't have any breaches coming. None in the top half of the deck. Alright, do I want Veil of Summer? I don't know if our opponent has anything I want to Veil. Let's try this out. Why not? Sure. Hands with Breach are super valuable with this deck. And unfortunately, this is the first round that we've gone to 3 games. I was hoping it was going to be a perfect 10-game league. And this round ruined it. We were so close to winning that last game, but just bricked. Well, I guess we would have bricked. We didn't even have the opportunity to brick. We died instead. Alright. I'm just going to remove a land from the deck. Not play out this Blood Crypt. So why not shock yourself? Board into Death Shadows, apparently. That would be the real plan. Get rid of that. We sort of need to resolve our non-creature spell to win the game. Windswept Teeth pass from the opponent. Another land. I think I'm just going to pass here. Opponent fetches a Triumph on our end step. Makes a lot of sense. I would expect them to play Explorer this turn. Yep. So we still know 4 of their 5 cards. We're going to fetch Green Source here. Then F6. We're still looking for a draw spell and a Dredger. Guess we can discard the Teferi most likely. They're probably going to cycle the Triumph most likely. Let's just play out this Crypt. We have enough fuel in the graveyard for Breach as is. Burgie wouldn't be a bad draw for us either. Get some horn action going on. They drew a spell. Unless they're just cycling. Nope. Pretty good spell. Hey, speaking of the devil. Let's get a land out of the deck. Okay. So they got to draw a card off this, so they're going to have 2 unknowns here. Looks like they drew a spell because they're fetching immediately to add mana. Cycle Triumph, maybe? That's what I'm hoping for, that it's just cycle. Ah! Well, I guess next turn we can replay the... It's just, it buys them so much time. So I think they have 2 unknowns at the moment. Run. So 1 unknown and then return a land. They return Triumph. Okay. Right now we can replay Horn on our turn. So right now they have 4, 5 damage. Looking to dodge something like Explore. If our opponent puts too many lands into play, we die to the ability on Omnath. Feeling pretty good if we get to untap, though. And I think we just died. Does this kill? Oh, yeah, it kills me. Because they have a bunch of lands that come into play all at once. Brain Delight for the win. So it's not... I don't think it's a Niv deck. We never saw Niv. It's just Brain Delight Scapeshift. And unfortunately, the ability on Omnath, the third land coming into play, was enough to kill us here. We would have won if we got to untap, but that's not how Magic goes sometimes, unfortunately. Pretty close match, though. Both post-board games were just down to like us being half a turn too slow. Opponents just like doing their thing here and ending our league. So unfortunately, we went 2-3. Let's look at the deck list one more time. The main deck was sort of fine. I think I'd like to try Witchclaw at one point, just so that way we have some extra consistency. Burgie was fine this league, but maybe with Witchclaws you just don't need that sort of effect. I'm not really sure. We just want more ways of finding Breach. Some people have talked about Shred Memory. I don't think that's a card we really want to be playing, personally. I think Witchclaw is just better. Because you get to split the cost up over multiple turns. Yeah, like, reasonably, I don't know if there's a reason to ever play this over Twiddle Storm. Like, I think I'd even play Gift Storm over this competitively, but this deck is a lot of fun and a different choice if that's what you're looking to do. I also think that maybe these both should be Nature's Claims. We do need a way of dealing with Leyline. That's an oversight on my part. Alright, well that's what I think I have to say on this video. If you have any ideas to improve this deck, make sure to let me know, so that way the next time I record, we can upgrade our deck. That's always a benefit. Yeah, so take care. See ya. Keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.